with it being the national call, we go a little bit longer on this call than normal. And the reason for it is because we have multiple guest speakers. And I'm telling you right now, if you're not on the move, if you're at your office, if you're at your desk, you've got pen and paper handy, utilize it this morning. Because simply put, you're going to be able to pick up some nuggets of information from our speakers. I'm going to guarantee you that, because simply put, when you look at what they've done over the past year, and then also what they've done so far this year and the way they've started, absolutely two of the best in the business. Last year, both of them over 200,000 easily in production in 2023. And then both of them, as I mentioned, off to a very quick start this year. And that's Glenn Weatherly and Josh Sullivan. So Josh Sullivan is going to be our speaker to kick things off this morning. Josh, if you haven't recognized it yet, look at the leaderboard, look at the group chat. You'll see Josh dinging consistently. It seems like every single day, has really bought in to the holistic, organic approach to integrating Medicare in with his life sales. And he really embodies that holistic approach. And so excited to have Josh on with us this morning. Josh, I see you plugged in and ready to go as always, buddy. I appreciate you giving us some time. Thankful for you jumping on and spending some time with us, and I'll turn it over to you, my friend.
Well, thank you very much, and good morning to everybody. And man, I'm so honored to be able to do this. I've been a part of these calls now for about 2 years. I know you guys don't really know me, so I'm just going to give you a quick backstory here. For the past 17 years, I've actually been a pastor at a church. In the past 2 years, I've actually started this journey as just learning the insurance industry. I tell you all of that to say I had no background in insurance at all. I've never done it before. I really didn't have a sales background at all. And when I actually got into this industry, I was actually with another IMO, and that other IMO, it was very, very different than what we have with EFES. There was really no training. There was no sustainability with leads. There was no hotline. There were just really no resources at all that were coming our way. And so when we found EFES and all of this stuff was available to us, I was like, oh my gosh, this is very, very different for someone who had no experience in sales, someone who had no experience in insurance. And then all of this was laid out on, hey, this is a system that works. And I was like, man, I can plug into this and I can learn and I can grow in it. And man, it has been so great. So I'm very excited to talk to you about the holistic approach, because the reason why it's so exciting to me was it was a big step for me to get into this industry at all. But whenever I found EFES, taking these steps haven't been as big or scary because of all of the help and the resources that were out there. I gotta tell you this really quick story. It was one of the first houses that I was in. And I was honestly just a little stuck. And so I called the hotline. I called the lifeline there, and the hotline, and Holden Hassell actually picked up. I doubt he even remembers this because of all of the houses that all of the help that he gives people. But he was helping me with this lady. She was, I believe she was 74 years old at the time. And man, I was just hung up. I couldn't get her to close because of banking information. And obviously it was probably trust and me not knowing what to do. So I pick up the phone, I call him, and the next thing I know, he's helping me close that whole thing right there in the home. And I listened to every word that he said. And every word that he said is the exact words that I say anytime I get into that situation again. So whenever I picked up the phone about October of last year and called Holden and said, hey, man, I've got some clients here in my area and they need help with Medicare. I have my health license, but I'm not certified and I'm not ready to sell. And because I was still working my other job at the time, I was like, can you help them? I just want to make sure we help these people because they really need some help. And I'll never forget, he just challenged me. He goes, no, I'm not going to do that. You're going to do that. He goes, come on, man, you can do this. And it was right then that he challenged me and he pushed me and he said, I know you're busy, but just go through this certification process. And the reason why I'm telling you all of that was because I went, okay, the resources, the help, everything that I needed on the life side was there. Here comes the Medicare side. And he just opened the door. And the reason why I love this approach so much is because now every time I walk into a home, I know that I can help anybody. When I get that life lead that has an 83-year-old on it, I go, oh my gracious, I can walk into that home and I can help them. I may not be able to do anything with their life, but because of with their life side of things, but because of this Medicare side of thing, I can walk into any home with any lead with the confidence that I can help anybody at all. So the reason why that's been so great is like, again, I love to, and with anything that I do in my life, I want to be found helping others, serving others. Now, there are a lot of benefits that come to that whenever you're able to do it. Um, so, just right back to that certification process, Holden challenged me, and then he helped me every step of the way get through AHIP, the certifications, all of those things. Just the team was just awesome. And then I just started listening to his trainings and everything that goes into that. And I don't know about you guys, but when Holden starts talking about Medicare, I feel like I need to dress better. I feel like I'm underdressed. Like I need to be wearing a button-up shirt and maybe a tie because this is just great. This should be like at I don't know, at an event, and I need to be there because you just know all of that. The the reason I say that is because every time I walked into a home from October, or excuse me, from November, whenever I actually finished with AEP, I didn't know what I was doing. But in the same way that he helped me with that life, I would hop in there, I'd give him a phone call, and man, right there in that home, I would listen to him, and I'd listen to him help these people and change their lives. Uh, and when I say change their lives, I mean that. He helped me with one. All we did was take one little step of running an eligibility for one woman because of her LIS. She had an active Medicaid number, but the person that had been helping her had never put her in a dual complete plan. And because of that, we just shifted that lady's life. Um, Over here, it was now she's getting her 174.50 paid for every single month, and she's getting $146. Guys, that's over 300 some odd dollars a month for somebody on a very, very limited income. Let me tell you something. She loved us. She still loves us. She texts me on my phone once a month just to say thank you. Ever since this all went into place, because we put her in place immediately, and she came back in January. Um, I think about this other lady. The reason why I love this so much is because this holistic approach is because now when I walk into these homes, I'm not going, hey, this is what I need from you. I literally get to walk into homes and go, this is what I want for you, which is very different. You talk about getting rid of commission breath. Whenever you can come in with that type of genuine authenticity of, I'm not looking for anything from you. This is what I want for you. I want the best benefits that you can get when it comes to your health. And whenever you can find that, it makes the whole life side open up that much more. It's so much easier to get that life policy from that on top of the refrigerator or back in the safe or whatever it is once you've just found that $105 in a give back program. And now you're going, oh my goodness, you're with one of these carriers that goes up every 5 years. Let me show you how we're going to be able to help you. Um, one of the clients that I've been able to help that Holden helped me with as well was Mary Pulmus. I go to her home. We start, and it was a life lead, and we just open up the door, and I go, well, hey, before we even start here, because now I'm sure all of you guys are doing this the same way, but if you're not, I'll tell you how I walk into every home. I walk into every home, whether it's a life lead or a Medicare lead, and I just go, hey, I'm a benefits coordinator for this area, and we're just going to look at all of your benefits. So whatever the lead might say, we're going to talk about all of your benefits. And so because of that, and you're really walking in there, not looking for anything from them, but with the idea of going, this is not what I want from you, but this is what I want for you. Well, really what you're doing when you have that approach is you're going in there going, man, I can't wait to be a servant in this home. A servant-hearted person, which is really the heart of our whole IMO here. That's why all of the trainings are there, all of the resources are there, the phone calls, everybody's willing to help because they're going, no, we want to be there. They've been there for me and going, no, when I go into the home, I want to duplicate that same thing and I want to see what's best for you. So we go into that home, we look at everything. She's in a fairly good Medicare plan. She's in a terrible, terrible life plan. We get her on a give back plan with Devoted. Now she's getting $105 back every single month. She was on a rising premium every 5 years, and we get her in a replacement to where she was paying $73 a month, but in 1 year she was about to jump to about 130. We got her the same amount of coverage. We got her in the give back plan, and because of that, her give back plan is paying 100% of her life insurance. And so she's in a whole lot better situation. We're in a great situation, and all because we were able to look at the whole picture, not just one portion of it. So I'm not as great as going into the home yet as Jason and Jim and a lot of these other guys. The closing rate, I hope, gets better and better on the life side, but I know this: I can walk into any home now with a whole bunch of confidence going, I can help everybody. I can help every single person with what we have to offer here. The last thing I'll say is this: the biggest reason why I jumped into Medicare was because every person that I ever heard talk about Medicare on this call, they all said the same thing. I wish I would have got into it sooner. And because I'm only 2 years in, I didn't want to be in year 10 and go, man, I wish I would have got into this sooner. I'm so thankful that I've jumped into it now, that because there have been the resources, I've had a wonderful, safe place to learn and to even fail. I really messed up last week, and Holden helped me walk through the whole thing on how to fix it and get it better. I tell you all of that to say, I love that there are people that are ahead of us that learn, and that we can learn from. There's a lot of people who are really, really generous in sharing in their success, but they're not as generous in sharing in all of their experiences. But when you can learn from somebody's mistakes, then you can learn to go and make your own and not remake theirs. And so for all of the people who talk on these calls, you always bring value. I hope this brings value to you as if you're thinking about moving into the Medicare space. Once you see the whole picture, it's going to change so much for you, and it will absolutely change how you walk into a home and the confidence that you can have there. Chase, I hope that helps.
It was absolutely phenomenal, and we're gonna compound that awesome message and bring in that gentleman who you mentioned a few times in your message, Josh. We're gonna bring Holden in. I know Holden wanted to contribute and chime in with you here. So Triple H, I see you're unmuted, buddy. I'll turn it over to you guys.
Awesome. Hey, Josh, just want to ask you a few questions. I appreciate the shout out. And I know you're doing the hard job, which is getting the leads, seeing the people. So with your success on the Medicare side, can you share the amount of money that you've made and what the largest deposit you ever got in your life was, whether it's life insurance or health insurance, and kind of how that's helped you see the light and help propel your business?
Yes, absolutely. So it was, again, I jumped into the Medicare space around November, which was right in the middle of, AEP. And I remember a call that Ron Reed was doing, and he said, hey, maybe you don't have leads, but you have a book of business. And I went, oh my gosh, he's right. Well, here we go. Let's just look back into it. And we just started going back into all of our life leads, doing everything that we did and just hitting the ground running. And I was still working my other job at the time. And I think through AEP, I was able to work. It was 10 or 12 days. And we wrote just under 50 apps in those 10 to 12 days. And the largest commission that I ever received, I got it from United Healthcare, and it was just shy of $9,000. And man, what a way to start out your year. That was incredible.
And that $9,000, obviously that's a complete game changer. So you started, just everyone to be clear, you started 11/15, around 11/15, November 15th of 2023. And that enabled him to build up around $9,000. And that was just from one company, by the way. So he did write other companies. So he made more than that. So he was able to make what people make in a quarter, the 3 months of a year. He was able to make that with one insurance company, right? $9,000, which is a phenomenal check to cash. So he didn't buy any Medicare leads, right? So keep that in the back of your mind. He took the time to go ahead and work his book of business that he already had a relationship with, of people that trusted him, that liked him, and that have already bought from him. And he was able to go back to them and not just sell them something. He was genuinely able to help them, put them in a better situation they were currently in, and therefore free up money as well, in addition to that, for them to get additional products. And then learn how to sell a couple hospital indemnities here and there, right? Something he's never sold before either. And just so everyone knows, Josh had no background in health insurance, right? He was, like he said, he was a pastor, right? So that's an amazing thing, an amazing success story. So Josh, now that you've had success with the Medicare side, you got that money, are you reinvesting that money? Are you buying Medicare leads to help multiply that money?
Absolutely. I immediately, whenever we started talking about OEP, I was like, hey, how many do I need to get here? I love what the call last week of not trying to reinvent the wheel. And if grandma's cookie recipe is this, then why in the world would you be adding more, doing less? So whenever I was told, hey man, if you want this thing to be successful, you need to buy leads, I was like, hey, let's do it. Let's add these leads in. And so definitely reinvesting. I've already gotten, I think we're at 35 of the Medicare leads that we've dropped have come in. And man, the close rate on those are so high, just being able to help people. So absolutely reinvesting, and looking forward to reinvesting again, and especially getting ready for AEP.
Okay. And why do you think the close ratio is so high? Are people more receptive with this lead than they might be with a life lead? Like what, and is it your confidence level now that you've become, you're a step closer towards an expert, right? The plans and the products in your area. So can you talk about that, like why you think that might be a higher close ratio than another type of lead?
Yeah. So to me, I think the reason why it's such a higher close ratio is because there are a lot of, oh gosh, this is just going to sound ugly. So please just, if it sounds ugly, just know I'm not trying to be ugly about it. But there's just a lot of lazy people out there. And so whenever lazy agents out there is what I mean. And so I go into these homes, and these people haven't been seen. They haven't been heard. I haven't heard from their agent in such a long time. They haven't been upgraded. And, so whenever we're talking about these new Medicare plans that have come out, and they go, oh my gosh, you mean you're going to move me from $108 a month to $146 a month? And nothing changes? Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, you mean I can actually get money back into this? And so again, whenever it's the approach, again, just the holistic approach from moving from this is I need something from you versus this is what I want for you. It changes the closing rate, because again, we're just walking in and going, hey, we're going to help you, and your life is going to be better whenever I walk out of this house. I'm going to bring value to you. And that changes the game for people. Anytime anyone has ever felt like a means to an end, nobody ever enjoys being a means to an end. But whenever you have what we have at our disposal here, the all of the carriers, all of the updated information, the 2024 plans, and the help that you need, like, I don't have to go into any home and make anybody feel like a means. They always feel like the end, and because of that, they go, that's valuable, and I'm gonna stay in touch with you. So these clients now, they keep in touch with me as much as I keep in touch with them. That's the big reason why I think it's that they're closing higher, Holton, is because it's just like, oh man, somebody actually cares about this for my life. Somebody actually knows. I don't have to be confused about my Medicare anymore because somebody actually knows what they're talking about, and they're going to make sure that I'm taken care of year over year.
That's a tremendous thing, right? And they're like, hey, this person's looking out for me, because not only do you help them today, but you're going to help them every single year for the rest of their life. That's a tremendous thing. And then, so tell me, have you ever gotten any referrals? I mean, from Medicare sales? Has anyone said, hey, can you help someone else?
Okay, yeah, that's unreal. The Medicare referrals. I was in an apartment complex during AEP. I went to help one of my life leads, and as I was walking out, she grabbed me by the hand, and she walked me down to her neighbor's house. Helped her neighbor. She grabbed me by the hand, walked me down to the next neighbor's house, and did that. And so I had one phone call and told them that, hey, I was coming to help with Medicare. There were 6 people in the house when I got there. They were like, hey, let's see what you can do. Let's see what you can do. And it was wild. The amount of referrals. There were more referrals in those 10 to 12 days that we worked in Medicare than the full almost 2 years that I had in life. Maybe I'm not doing the life referrals as well as I should be, but man, the referrals for Medicare, that wasn't work at all. They were just taking me there. It was more work to keep my appointments in the other places, because man, people were just coming from everywhere. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's a tremendous thing. So just to see that, the referrals, clients that are just ecstatic and they're happy, texting you saying thank you, and your activity is incredibly high, and it helps you stay busier, right? Do you feel as if now when you go out in the field relative to before, when you're just selling just one product, do you feel as if it's difficult for you to leave the field without a sale?
I haven't been in the field without a sale. There were, and that's one thing, that I love too. It was like 2 weeks ago, I think. It was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I just had this batch of leads, and there's sometimes you see when you get those leads in, and you're going, man, this is 60 to 73, and you're going, man, this is game on. We're gonna do this. And then there are other times, man, the leads just come in and they're a little bit different. And if you're only working life, again, you're going, ooh, man, this might be a tough week. Just looking at ages, I'm gonna have to figure some things out here, get really creative. There was a day in the field, I think, where all of those, I think it was 5 Medicare policies and maybe 1 life, just that day. And I was like, man, we can do this every day I go out. We're getting something, just because of, again, the activity, the referrals, but also just having something for everybody that you go into. Man, it just changes it changed the game.
And one more question. I have kind of what you say, but you didn't stop selling life insurance to sell Medicare, right? Like, you added that into your business.
That's correct. Yeah. And I'm still running life leads, and I'm running Medicare leads. The best part of it was I was going, this is increased activity. It's more people to see. And again, I think I said this earlier. If I didn't, I'll say it again. I treat every lead now just as, hey, man, we're going to do a complete overview of your benefits. And we'll start with Medicare and turn to life, or we'll start with life and we'll shift to Medicare. But we're gonna look at the whole thing. And the life side hasn't slowed down at all. The Medicare side has just sped me up, and in a really, really good way.
Do you feel as if the life side is going to increase now that you have the Medicare side down pat?
I don't know if I have it down pat. I'm just thankful that I can reach out. But the life side is definitely sped up. Again, the cross sell, it's it's the gift that keeps on giving. And so if the life side with activity should only speed up, because now it's just giving me the opportunity to have more conversations with more people with the Medicare side.
So just so everyone knows, Josh is about, if not surpassed, in the past, let's say 45, 60 days in that time frame, close to $20,000 in Medicare commissions. So that first check was close to $9,000, and the other ones that are, I mean, you guys see the dings, right? That cash flow is hitting. So he'll be close to that amount. If you haven't surpassed it, you very well might have. But, you know, that's phenomenal just in and of itself to know, one, but two, for everyone to see that Josh is now at that substantial amount of money, but he doesn't just get that money one time. He gets that money for the rest of those clients' lives. So it's not just $20,000 and that's it, right? This is every single year for as long as those clients live. And they love him and they treat him great because he does the right thing and he helps them, and he's not going in there just to get a sale. I mean, Josh, you tell me, is there times when a client's in a good position, I've told you, hey, listen, they're in a great position, we can't help them today, but what we can do is revisit them during AEP? Have I said that to you and to a client?
Yes, and that right there, I love that, the statement. And the reason I love it so much is, imagine the trust that you get in that home whenever you're able to look at somebody and go, hey, you're in a really, really great place. We don't need to mess with this at all. But let's just make sure you're in the same place with your life policy as well. And so, and if you're in a great place, hey man, we're not going to mess with that at all. And because you have the track record of saying, no, you've just done a great job, the trust that you just built with that person is amazing. And then you're able to just, and even if that's in a great place, you're just able to say, hey, and just so you know, I'm going to be back here in October. I'm looking forward to it. Still put a card on the refrigerator. You got my number. This is how you save it. And man, looking forward to seeing you. If I can do anything for you between now and then, please let me know. But yeah, that statement right there, to me, that's not cutting your loss. To me, that's investing in a relationship of going, hey, you're in a great place. That's an investment that's going to bring a return in AEP.
And the last time they probably heard from their other agent was a long time ago, if they've even heard from them. But, and the good thing is too, people, you know, everyone to keep in mind is that these people made a conscious decision to get whatever health insurance plans they have. They made a conscious decision to buy the life insurance that they have. And when he says that to them, like, they're like, wow, you know, I know nothing about this stuff and somehow I did it right, right? It's a really good feeling. So last question, and we'll let Chase move on to Glenn. And once again, Josh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You know, you're doing a phenomenal job. You're doing the hard work, and I'm helping you on the back end, making sure that everything runs smoothly. So the last question that I have is, did you and I, before this morning call, did you and I talk at all? Did I give you talking points, and did we script this out?
No, we did not at all.
All right. I just want everyone to know there's not a single thing that him and I, we didn't even talk about it before the call. So, all right, I will mute myself and I'll let y'all move on. Josh, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a phenomenal job. Anyone that wants to get started on the Medicare side, please let us know and we will help you on out. Just reach out to your manager and we will get you started.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome stuff, Josh. Appreciate you. Holden as well. Thank you for jumping on and plugging in. And those are some really good questions, giving really good insight.